Tyam ashukham lokam imham prapya bhajashvamam. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. In this material world, there are classifications of people, but after all, this world is not happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, Anityam Ashukam Lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries, not habitable for any sane gentleman. This world is declared by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some philosophers, especially Mayavadi philosophers, say that this world is false, but we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false, it is temporary. There is a difference between temporary and false. This world is temporary, but there is another world which is eternal. This world is miserable, but there is another that the another world is eternal and blissful. Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead, back home. No one should remain in this temporary world full as it is with miseries. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all problems of all classes of men can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect.
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्तैव माम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Purport. In the world, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is stated in the Purma Purana as it is quoted by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhasya comments on Chaitanya Charamrita, 5th chapter, Adi Leela, verses 41 to 48. Deha dehi vibhedoyam neshware vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the signs of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the signs of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demoniac. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking
Of Krishna
always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. The kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional service. That is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but it's eternal, blissful knowledge.
His body.
This kind, this kind of talk about
This
Krishna.
kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage in his mind in the eternal form, the prime, primal form of Krishna, with conviction in his heart that Krishna is the supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything that will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without devotion.
Deviation.
This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different process of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma, but a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the pure in the
The
beginning
beginning.
may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be perfectly saintly person. His accidental and non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personality takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the unintelligent person
The
should take
intelligent.
The
the
intelligent person
the
The
intelligent
intelligent.
person
should take directly.
the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in the material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose to the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge.